NWA Straight Outta Compton.
His name and the boys coming
straight out of Compton. It's a brother that'll smother your mother and make your sister think I love her.
No discussion of controversial rap albums can start without NWA's debut, Straight Outta Compton. The album brought the harsh realities of life in Los Angeles, California to mainstream audiences, exposing police brutality, crime, and poverty with raw, unfiltered storytelling. Its aggressive delivery and gritty detail shocked listeners and sparked debates about the impact of rap music on society. The album cover itself featured Eazy-E holding a weapon, which added to its rebellious and confrontational image. The track F the Police drew the most attention, directly criticizing law enforcement for racial profiling and abuse of power.
With me, 'cause I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager, searching my car, looking for the product.
The song even prompted a warning letter from the FBI and protest from police departments, an unprecedented level of government attention for a rap album. Critics accused NWA of glorifying gang culture, misogyny, and violence, while fans and defenders praised the group for honestly portraying the environment they grew up in, showing the systemic challenges faced by black communities. Beyond F the Police, other songs on the album explored gang life, economic struggle, and social injustice, further challenging mainstream perceptions of urban life. The music video for the title track, Straight Outta Compton, was banned by MTV, adding to the group's notoriety and mystique. Despite the backlash, the controversy fueled the album's success, helping it reach platinum status and cementing NWA's role as pioneers of West Coast hip-hop. Straight Outta Compton became more than just a record. It was a cultural statement, sparking national conversations about race, policing, censorship, and artistic freedom. Its influence on music, activism, and pop culture makes it one of the most controversial and important rap albums in history. Tupac, Tupacalypse Now.
You know they got me trapped in this prison of seclusion. Happiness living on the streets is a delusion. Even a smooth
Tupac launched his solo career with the release of Tupacalypse Now in November of 1991. His debut album addressed heavy topics such as racism, poverty, drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, police brutality, and street violence. It stood out for its raw honesty, giving a voice to issues often ignored by mainstream media. But while many praised it for highlighting real struggles, the project quickly became the center of national controversy. The backlash came after a 19-year-old in Texas took the life of a state trooper, and the defense attorney claimed that Tupacalypse Now had influenced the act. Then Vice President Dan Quayle publicly condemned Tupac and urged Time Warner, which owned part of Interscope Records, to remove the album from stores. Quayle declared the record had no place in society, comparing it to other music of the time that faced criticism for violent themes. A civil suit was even filed against Tupac and Interscope, with critics singling out the track Soldier's Story for its references to violence during traffic stops, which they argued mirrored the real-life incident that happened.
They finally pulled me over and I laughed. Remember Rodney King and I blast on this punk ass.
Tupac strongly defended his work, explaining that he rapped about the realities young black men faced daily, not to encourage crime, but to reflect the truth of his community. He also pointed out a double standard. While movies and television regularly depict violence, rap music was singled out as dangerous. In the end, the controversy backfired on his critics. Instead of silencing him, it drew more attention to his message and helped boost his profile, setting the stage for him to become one of hip-hop's most powerful and influential voices. Nas' Untitled album.
How violent all these cops, they need an early retirement. How many rallies will I watch? I ain't got it in me to march, I gotta send me the spark.
In 2007, Nas revealed plans to title his 9th studio album The N-Word, explaining that he wanted to take the power away from the slur. The announcement drew immediate backlash from community leaders, record stores, and the media. Reverend Jesse Jackson called the title offensive and argued that Nas should use his platform to inspire rather than degrade. New York Assembly member Hakeem Jeffries went further, claiming that Nas was profiting from a term historically used to dehumanize people of color. He even urged state officials to pull millions in pension fund investments from Universal, the parent company of Nas's label, unless the name was changed. Despite the criticism, Island Def Jam's chairman L.A. Reid publicly supported Nas's creative decision. Still, in May of 2008, Nas chose to change the project's name to simply Untitled. He explained that getting the music out to fans mattered more than the title, and that listeners would always understand what he originally intended. When Untitled officially dropped in July of 2008, the album topped the Billboard 200, selling over 187,000 copies in its first week. It was later certified gold, proving the controversy had not slowed his success. The period also saw Nas clash with Fox News, particularly Bill O'Reilly. Nas accused the network of spreading racism and misinformation, pointing to negative coverage of Barack and Michelle Obama during the 2008 election. He addressed these issues directly on the song Sly Fox.
They monopolize the news, your views, and the channel you choose. Propaganda, visual cancer.
Shout out to Midnight Club Los Angeles. If you know, you know. Nas even joined a protest outside of Fox News' headquarters the same week the album topped the charts. While Bill O'Reilly dismissed Nas's protest as a publicity stunt, the moment highlighted how the project was about more than just music. Between the original title, the cover art referencing slavery, and its political commentary, Untitled remains one of Nas's most controversial albums and a bold statement in his career. Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP.
All of this controversy circles me, and it seems like the media immediately points a finger at me.
Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP that was released in May of 2000 pushed the boundaries of violence, misogyny, and celebrity mockery, sparking debates about whether artists should face consequences for fictional but offensive lyrics. Eminem targeted celebrities like Christina Aguilera, NSYNC, and Britney Spears. He also sent shots at his on and off again girlfriend, Kim, and his own mother, creating widespread media attention and controversy. Songs like the one about Kim shocked listeners with Eminem's intense emotional delivery, blending anger and desperation in a way that blurred the line between fiction and reality.
How could you just leave me and love him out the blue? Oh, what's the matter, Kim? Am I too loud for you?
The album drew criticism from women's rights groups, public figures, and government officials. Lynn Cheney, the wife of the eventual vice president Dick Cheney, publicly condemned the album, and Canadian authorities initially attempted to prevent Eminem from performing during his anger management tour due to his lyrics. Despite this, he was still allowed to perform. Even the original album cover depicting Eminem with pills and alcohol sparked outrage and was later changed. Despite the backlash, the Marshall Mathers LP was a monumental commercial success. It topped the Billboard 200 with 1,780,000 copies sold in the first week, eventually going 11 times platinum. It also won the Grammy for Best Rap Album at the 43rd Annual Grammy Awards at the beginning of 2001. The Marshall Mathers LP became a defining moment in Eminem's career and demonstrates how an artist could provoke debate while reaching massive audiences. XXXTentacion, 17.
Baby, I need you in my life, in my life. Please, babe, don't go switch his eyes.
XXXTentacion's 2017 debut album, 17, is one of the most controversial rap albums of its era. The record focused on heavy themes like depression, heartbreak, and mental health, which connected deeply with many young listeners, but also drew criticism for its raw, dark, and unconventional style. Its emotional intensity and unpolished sound challenged mainstream rap norms, making it a lightning rod for both praise and debate. The controversy was heightened by X's legal troubles and public image at the time. Many listeners struggled to separate the music from the artist, as he was facing very serious allegations involving his then pregnant girlfriend. In response, Spotify temporarily restricted promotion of his music under their policy regarding hateful conduct, a decision that sparked public debate and drew support from artists like Kendrick Lamar, who reportedly threatened to remove his own music unless the policy was reconsidered. X publicly thanked Kendrick when Spotify eventually walked back the restrictions. Tracks like the 8 times platinum Jocelyn Flores, written in the memory of a young girl who tragically took her own life after being flown out to see X, raised ethical questions. Her family was not consulted before the release of the song, leaving them with mixed feelings about how X used her story. They also still had unanswered questions about what happened the day that she took her own life.
I know you're somewhere.
Another song, Revenge, was also dedicated to her, with tracks like F Love and Everybody Dies in Their Nightmares continuing the album's raw and emotional tone. 17 also drew attention for X's pre-release stunt, in which he posted a video suggesting he deleted himself, which unsettled many and added to the public scrutiny. Despite the surrounding controversy, the album achieved significant commercial success. Released in August of 2017, it peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 87,000 copies in its first week, and as of 2023, the album has gone triple platinum. Songs like the diamond-selling F Love have become some of the most streamed tracks in SoundCloud history, further cementing the album's lasting impact on modern hip-hop. Overall, 17 remains controversial, not only because of its themes and X's legal issues, but also because it sparked broader conversations about mental health, artistic expression, and whether you can separate the art from the artist. Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Public Enemy is one of the most influential rap groups of all time, but their success was often surrounded by controversy. In 1989, group member Professor Griff made remarks in an interview that were widely criticized as anti-Semitic. The backlash was immediate and intense, leading to his removal after pressure from Def Jam and community leaders. While Chuck D did not want him out, other members and label executives felt that it was necessary, and rumors even spread that the group had broken up. Professor Griff was eventually reinstated, which only fueled more debate about the group's direction. That same year, Public Enemy released Fight the Power for Spike Lee's film Do the Right Thing. The song is now regarded as one of the greatest rap tracks ever, but it was controversial at the time for its anti-establishment tone and its criticism of cultural icons like Elvis and John Wayne. The group doubled down on these themes with their 1990 album Fear of a Black Planet. Songs like Burn Hollywood Burn called out racism in the film industry, while 911 is a Joke criticized the poor emergency response in black communities. These powerful messages cemented Public Enemy's reputation as outspoken truth tellers, even if it meant sparking outrage.
So get up and get down. 911 is joking your town. Get up and get down.
Even the album's title, Fear of a Black Planet, drew criticism. Chuck D explained that the idea of black and white is not a biological reality, but a social construct created to maintain power structures. He emphasized that all people are mixed and that the division between races is artificial. Public Enemy's focus on Afrocentricity comes from the need to counterbalance a system that prioritized whiteness, making black pride an act of self-defense. He also highlighted that Africa should be seen as the origin of civilization, not a third world region. Though controversial, the album became a landmark moment in hip-hop history, showing how rap could be a platform for activism as well as music. Chief Keef, finally rich.
With that cold, bro. Now that was slumped over. They do it all for soul. So you wasn't making no noise.
Chief Keef's debut album, Finally Rich, that was released in December of 2012, is considered one of the most controversial rap albums of the past decade because it introduced Chicago's drill music to a wide audience. Chief Keef was just 17 when the album dropped, and tracks like Love Sosa and I Don't Like offered a raw, unfiltered look at life on Chicago's South Side. The album's violent and aggressive themes sparked debates about whether it reflected the realities of urban life or promoted harmful behavior, especially during a time when the city was struggling with crime and instability. One of the most talked about aspects of the album was Chief Keef referencing real-life conflicts, including dissing deceased individuals connected to rival gangs. Chief Keef infamously dissed Tuka on the album, with Tuka being a teenager that was taken out at a bus stop in Chicago's South Side. It's believed that this was gang-related, with Tuka being rumored to have been a member of a rival gang of Chief Keef's. Fast forward to today, and we sadly hear rappers dissing dead people all the time. The impact and influence this album has fuels broader discussions about artistic freedom, personal responsibility, and the influence of music on listeners. Critics and community leaders worried about the potential impact on youth, while supporters praise Chief Keef for giving an authentic voice to a community often ignored or misrepresented in mainstream media. Something else that contributed to the controversy surrounding the album is an incident that occurred in December of 2011 when police responded to a shots fired call and encountered 16-year-old Chief Keef. Officers reported that he was holding a coat over his hands near his waistband, and when questioned, he reportedly flashed a weapon before running. Police fired at him but missed. He was later arrested and charged with 4 felonies, including 3 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm on an officer plus resisting arrest. Keef was sentenced to house arrest with additional home confinement. During this time, he recorded the video for I Don't Like, which dropped in March of 2012.
Fredo in the cut, that's a scary sight. Man, now, you not with the shits, you can die tonight.
The song's success only grew after Kanye West released the I Don't Like remix, pushing Chief Keef into the national spotlight. Its mix of cultural significance, raw storytelling, and public debate makes it one of the most debated and influential rap albums of the 2010s. Insane Clown Posse, The Great Milenko. The Insane Clown Posse released their album The Great Milenko in 1997 to much controversy. The album was originally set to drop under Disney-owned Hollywood Records, but just hours after hitting shelves, Disney pulled it and dropped ICP from the label. At the time, groups like the Southern Baptist Church criticized Disney for supporting what they called anti-family content, though Disney explained the decision was based on the album's explicit lyrics, including graphic violence, horror-inspired storytelling, and frequent profanity, not outside pressure. The fact that the album even hit stores initially was seen as a mistake by Disney's internal review team. The sudden removal of the album fueled outrage among fans, sparking national headlines and turning the Great Milenko into a point of contention in debates over censorship and artistic freedom in music. The album's content also drew controversy. ICP's signature horrorcore style, combining circus-like production, shocking humor, and anti-establishment energy, divided audiences. Critics slammed the album as vulgar and dangerous, while fans embraced it as a bold, unapologetic statement that challenged mainstream norms. This tension only strengthened ICP's growing reputation as a polarizing act in hip-hop and reinforced the loyalty of their fan base, the Juggalos, who saw the controversy as proof that their community was misunderstood. Despite all the backlash, the Great Milenko went on to succeed commercially, eventually going platinum in 1999. Ice Cube, Death Certificate.
Goddamn, I'm glad y'all set it off. Used to be hard, now you just went and saw Bert, you was down with the AK.
Ice Cube's sophomore solo album, Death Certificate, released in October of 1991. Its bold, social and political messages captured the anger and frustration of black communities dealing with systemic racism, police brutality, and poverty just months before the 1992 LA riots. The album is split into two sides, the death side depicting harsh street realities and the life side promoting solutions, cultural pride, and empowerment. Several tracks sparked major controversy. Black Korea was criticized for its aggressive tone toward Korean American shop owners during a tense period in LA after the death of Latasha Harlins.
Boy, got so pay respect to the black fist, or we'll burn your storm right down to a crisp.
This is while No Vaseline became infamous as one of the harshest diss tracks in rap history, targeting Ice Cube's former group NWA. Other songs explore drug epidemics, gang violence, and economic inequality, leading organizations to denounce the album as potentially dangerous. The cover art showing Uncle Sam on a mortuary gurney further amplified public backlash. Internationally, the UK release of the album removed Black Korea and No Vaseline due to concerns about racial incitement, and in Oregon, stores were banned from displaying Ice Cube's image. Despite the controversies and a limited promotion budget, Death Certificate peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 105,000 copies in its first week, and has since gone platinum. Lil B, I'm Gay, I'm Happy.
Know me, stare at me, don't know I'm lonely. Outside, friendly stares from police.
In 2011, Lil B released his 5th studio album, I'm Gay, I'm Happy. He explained that the title was meant to challenge social stigma while also highlighting the original meaning of the word gay, which is happy and or carefree. Lil B said he wanted to spread positivity and show support for the LGBTQ community, hoping to push for less separation and more understanding. The album title sparked a lot of debate. Some critics and fans questioned whether it was just for shock value, while advocacy groups like GLAAD said that they hoped it was a sincere gesture of allyship. Lil B defended his choice, saying it came from a place of love and wanting to break barriers. The hip-hop community was largely against this, but Lupe Fiasco was one of the few rappers who publicly praised the title, calling it a genius move that reclaimed the word in a powerful way. Beyond the title, the album also had a symbolic cover art inspired by Marvin Gaye's I Want You, reflecting the themes of slavery, mental struggle, and freedom. To further connect with fans, Lil B even made the album available for free online shortly after release, a very thoughtful gesture for sure for those who couldn't buy it. In the end, the controversy made I'm Gay, I'm Happy one of the most talked about moments in his career, showing how one bold choice could spark cultural conversations far beyond music. Shout out to the bass god. 2 Live Crew, as nasty as they wanna be.
We're opposed not against the group, we're opposed against the lyrics, the obscenity.
In America should be freedom of speech. But then at the same time, they say, watch what you say.
I think a woman has rights, you know, for respect. Not for another man to look up on and to really get after, you know? And this is what they're doing, they're exposing women.
In 1989, 2 Live Crew released their 3rd album, As Nasty as They Wanna Be. The album cover and hit single,
Sitting at home watching Arsenio Hall, so I got my black book for a freak to call.
even as the song climbed the charts, peaking at number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reaching number 1 on the rap charts. This gave the group more attention than ever, but it also drew heavy criticism from politicians, community leaders, and the media. The controversy escalated in 1990 when a Florida judge declared the album legally obscene. Record store owners were arrested for selling it, and members of 2 Live Crew were even detained after performing their songs in concert. The group felt this violated their First Amendment rights and fought back against what they saw as censorship. In response to the backlash, they released their 4th album, Banned in the USA, which became the first record to carry the now standard parental advisory label. On this, they addressed their critics directly, including Florida's governor and the Broward County Sheriff, who had condemned their music. Although controversial, their fight highlighted the clash between hip-hop culture and censorship, and their eventual legal victory helped solidify the album's place as one of the most debated releases in rap history. Tyler, the Creator, Goblin.
Blinds wide open so he can see you in the dark when you're sleeping.
Tyler, the Creator's major label debut, Goblin, that was released in May of 2011, is widely regarded as one of the most controversial rap albums of all time. The album featured dark, violent, and often misogynistic lyrics combined with provocative imagery and an unapologetic style that shocked audiences. Even the 2 most popular songs from the album received criticism, She being written from the perspective of an obsessive stalker, and Yonkers, in which the music video went viral. Tyler infamously ate a cockroach and, let's just say, suspended himself at the end of the video.
I'm an overachiever, so how about I start a team of leaders and pick up Stevie Wonder to be the wide receiver?
Even though Tyler included disclaimers that much of the material was fictional, the rawness and intensity of the lyrics drew intense media and public scrutiny. In 2019, Radicals was brought to the spotlight once again when a student at the University of South Alabama was accused of making threats after writing down the lyrics to the song in the school library. Goblin continued to create controversy years after its release. In 2015, Tyler was temporarily banned from the UK due to concerns over public safety linked to his lyrics. While claims that he was banned from Australia were incorrect, he canceled his tour there amid controversy, stating he preferred to perform when attention wasn't focused on his past controversies. Ultimately, Tyler was allowed to perform in places like the UK, New Zealand, and Australia when things died down years later. Despite these challenges, the album helped establish Tyler as a major figure in hip-hop for years to come. While still polarizing, the album remains a landmark in Tyler's career, showing how an artist can spark debate. Snoop Dogg, Doggystyle. Snoop Dogg's debut album, Doggystyle, was surrounded by controversy for both its music and the events happening around its release. In 1993, Snoop Dogg became involved in a highly publicized legal case which drew intense media attention and added fuel to ongoing debates about gangsta rap and its influence. While he was later acquitted, the case kept his name in headlines and created an atmosphere of scrutiny as his career was taking off. When Doggystyle dropped just a few months later in November of 1993, it became one of the most anticipated rap albums ever. It topped the Billboard 200 and sold over 806,000 copies in its first week, an unprecedented achievement at the time. The album included Murder Was the Case, a song that took on new meaning after Snoop Dogg's legal troubles, though he later explained that it was not about his case at all. When questioned about the song, Snoop Dogg said that he unknowingly spoke things into existence. The track was eventually remixed for a film soundtrack, further cementing its legacy. Beyond the legal drama, Doggystyle faced criticism for its explicit lyrics, violent subject matter, and provocative artwork. Songs like Serial Killer dealt with dark themes, while tracks such as Ain't No Fun drew backlash for its treatment of women. Combined with the growing media scrutiny of gangsta rap, these elements made the album a cultural talking point. Still, despite the controversy, Doggystyle went quadruple platinum by the end of 1994 and is remembered as one of the greatest and influential rap debuts in history. Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
Streets that you can walk on. So strap on your Compton hat, your lopes, and watch your back, cause you might get smoked, low.
Dr. Dre's The Chronic, which was released in December of 1992, is considered controversial for many of the same reasons as Snoop Dogg's Doggystyle. The album celebrated weed culture, contained violent and misogynistic lyrics, and reinforced Death Row Records' street reputation at a time when gangsta rap was widely criticized for influencing young listeners and drawing media scrutiny. The album was heavily influenced by the 1992 LA riots, which erupted after the acquittal of officers involved in the Rodney King beating, death of Latasha Harlins, and ongoing racial tensions in Los Angeles. Dr. Dre and the artists featured on The Chronic channeled their frustration and anger of the community into their music. Songs like The Day They Took Over directly addressed the riots, giving listeners insight into the social and political climate that shaped the album.
Compton, so I got to get my loot on and come up on me some furniture. So got a VCR in the back of my car.
An unreleased track titled Mr. Officer later leaked in 2016, further highlighted Dr. Dre's critique of law enforcement and systemic injustice. In the song, Dr. Dre called out Daryl Gates, the former chief of LAPD. He's notorious for his alleged targeting of the city's black communities during his tenure. Mr. Officer did not make the final cut for The Chronic and would not see the light of day for years due to the controversy surrounding body count. Mr. Officer is a darker and grittier version of The Day They Took Over with some changes.
Mr. Officer, I wanna see you laying in a coffin, sir. Mr. Officer.
Additional controversy surrounded Dr. Dre's feud with former NWA member Eazy-E and disputes over album credits, adding tension behind the scenes. Despite all of this, The Chronic was a massive commercial success, peaking at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 300,000 copies in its first week. By the end of 1993, it had gone triple platinum, cementing its legacy as one of the most influential and groundbreaking rap albums of its era. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Tryin'.
What up, blood? What up, cuz? What up, blood? What up, gangsta?
The album draws heavily from 50 Cent's experiences growing up in Queens, New York, and surviving a near-fatal shooting. Songs like Many Men, Wish Death, and Heat portray the dangers, struggles, and perseverance of street life, while tracks such as PIMP and High All the Time focus on wealth, success, and lifestyle. Critics and parent advocacy groups accused the album of glorifying violence, while fans and supporters praised its authenticity, storytelling, and ability to capture harsh realities. This tension between reflection and perceived endorsement made the album a topic of debate. The album's mainstream success intensified the controversy. Released under Eminem's Shady Records and Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment, it topped the Billboard 200 and sold 872,000 copies in its first week, eventually surpassing 9 million copies in the United States alone. Its impact reached international attention, with Canadian officials briefly questioning whether 50 Cent should be allowed to perform due to concerns over violent lyrics. Public feuds with artists like Ja Rule and Murder Inc. Records also added to the album's notoriety. Its combination of controversial content, massive popularity, and cultural influence solidifies its place as one of the most debated and impactful rap albums of all time. Mac, Shell Shocked.
You stole the beat with the assassin. When you see me, you gotta be blasting. Ain't no love for the other side, cause I get all up in the gas and out.
Mac's 1998 album, Shell Shocked, became one of the most controversial rap albums of its time due to its unflinching depiction of street life, crime, and violence, as well as the climate of scrutiny surrounding rap music in the late 90s. Released under Master P's No Limit Records, it stood out as one of the label's darker albums, reflecting the harsh realities of life in New Orleans. Things escalated after a 2000 nightclub incident in Louisiana that left a 19-year-old dead. Mac was arrested, and his trial relied heavily on his lyrics and public persona, portraying him as a violent figure. Despite conflicting eyewitness testimony and a later confession from another man involved in the incident, Mac was convicted of manslaughter in 2001 and sentenced to 30 years in prison. Critics argued that his conviction set a troubling precedent, as it appeared to punish an artist for his music rather than clear evidence. Over the years, new developments highlighted flaws in the case. In 2015, 5 key witnesses, including the prosecution's main witness, signed affidavits asserting that Mac did not fire the fatal shot. Many claimed that they had been intimidated and or ignored during the original trial. Advocacy groups and legal experts continue to argue that his conviction was influenced more by his image and lyrics than the facts of the case. After serving nearly 21 years, Mac was granted clemency in 2001 by Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards. His story remains a powerful example of the ongoing debate over whether rap lyrics should be admissible in court and how artistic expression intersects with the criminal justice system, a conversation that continues to this day in cases like Young Thug and YSL. KMD, Black Bastards.
Is on strike like Penn Station. If you don't believe me, Kid Car. I'll show you what lurks the black bastards who act like they know you.
Black Bastards is the second and final album from the rap group KMD, which included a young MF Doom, then known as Zev Love X. The group released their debut, Mr. Hood, in 1991 under Elektra Records, but before they could complete their sophomore album, the group faced serious setbacks. Onyx the Birthstone Kid left, leaving Doom and his brother DJ Subrock as a duo. Then tragedy struck when Subrock died at only 19 years old. His death devastated Doom, who tried to honor his brother by finishing the album. When Black Bastards was nearly complete, Elektra Records decided to pull the release in 1994. It's been said that Elektra feared negative press and backlash from retailers following the infamous Body Count song about cops. And I already know that I'm going to get comments of, oh, you didn't talk about Body Count. Body Count is not a rap group, so they're not going to go in this video. Just a disclaimer for those who are going to comment that. But a music video for the planned lead single of the album titled What a No was filmed but still remains unreleased to my knowledge.
Chicken cross the street cause they see me with the mask, knocking over trash cans and mailboxes on my block. Wow, sounded like a rock, y'all.
The significance of the album's title is that the group believed the identity of a black bastard is the illegitimate black child of white America. Elektra Records was also concerned about the album's cover art, which depicted a controversial caricature figure meant to symbolize the end of racial stereotypes. MF Doom explained that it was tied to KMD's logo, a crossed out version of the same figure, but many outside the group only saw it as offensive. At the time, rap was already being criticized in the media for political messages, strong language, and social commentary. With that backdrop, Elektra feared that the album would spark backlash from retailers and the public, so they dropped KMD from the label. Although cancelled, the album quickly gained a reputation through bootleg copies until it was finally given an official release in 2000. The music itself was darker than their debut, influenced by blaxploitation films and reflecting the struggles the group had endured. Beyond its content, the album became a key part of MF Doom's story. Losing his brother and seeing the project shut down left him disillusioned with the music industry, and he stepped away for years. Eventually, he re-emerged with a new identity, starting one of the most legendary runs in rap history. Biz Markie, I Need a Haircut.
I'm alone again, naturally.
In 1991, Biz Markie released his third album, I Need a Haircut, but it became infamous for sparking one of the most important lawsuits in music history. The issue came from the track Alone Again, which contained an unauthorized sample of Gilbert O'Sullivan's Alone Again Naturally song.
I did on my own, alone again, naturally.
That same year, U.S. District Court Judge Kevin Duffy ruled against Biz Markie and Warner Bros., calling it a clear copyright violation and even opening his decision with the phrase, "Thou shalt not steal." The ruling forced the album to be pulled from circulation, and Biz and his label had to pay damages. The impact on the music industry was huge. Before this case, hip-hop artists often sampled freely without worrying about clearance. But after the ruling, it became mandatory for all samples to be cleared before release, which added heavy cost and creative limitations for producers. Biz Markie later poked fun at the situation by naming his 1993 album All Samples Cleared, a tongue-in-cheek nod to the new reality. This lawsuit officially ended the quote-unquote Wild West era of hip-hop sampling and set the precedent that still defines copyright law in music today. It also came around the same time as other high-profile cases, like the rumored $1.7 million settlement between De La Soul and members of the 1960s band The Turtles over the song You Showed Me. Together, these moments reshaped hip-hop's relationship with sampling, making Biz Markie's case a turning point in both rap and music history. Lil' Kim, Hardcore.
One and another one and another one, 24 carats. That's when I'm with the average.
Lil' Kim's debut album, Hardcore, is widely recognized as one of the most controversial and groundbreaking releases in hip-hop history. Released in November of 1996, it peaked at number 11 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 78,000 copies in its first week. Hardcore boldly embraced sexuality, confidence, and fearless lyricism. Lil Kim's persona and style challenged prevailing norms in a male-dominated genre, pushing boundaries and redefining what a woman in hip-hop could express. The album's visuals also added to its notoriety. The iconic promotional poster sparked widespread conversation, with some condemning the imagery as indecent. Despite or perhaps because of the backlash, hardcore is now celebrated as a seminal work that reshaped the role of women in hip-hop. This was aided by the release of Foxy Brown's debut album, Il Nana, just a week after hardcore. Critics and fans alike viewed hardcore as Lil Kim reclaiming power and elevating women's voices in a genre that often sidelined them. Its influence paved the way for future stars like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. At its core, hardcore did not just generate controversy, it changed the game. Ye and Ty Dolla $ign, Vultures 1.
This I'm anti-Semitic. I just
The final entry is Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign's Vultures 1, released amid significant controversy in February of 2024. This was following Kanye's highly publicized anti-Semitic remarks and erratic behavior, which had already cost him major brand partnerships and hurt his industry standing. The album directly engages with some of these tensions in the song Vultures. Kanye acknowledges the accusations against him, while tracks like Stars include lines that many critics found insensitive or seen as reinforcing harmful stereotypes. The release itself faced multiple complications. Sample clearance issues forced the album to be temporarily removed, and disputes with the original distributor, Fuga, caused further delays before it was eventually re-uploaded via Label Engine. Despite these setbacks and the ongoing public backlash, Vultures 1 topped the Billboard 200, selling 148,000 copies in just a 5-day tracking week. The single Carnival also hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, demonstrating that Kanye's commercial influence remains significant even amid controversy.
Now I'm Ye Kelly, now I'm Bill Cosby, now I'm Puff Daddy Rich, that's me to me rich.
The original artwork also sparked discussion. It used German artist Caspar David Friedrich's 1835 painting Landscape with Graves, a favorite of a notorious historical dictator from Austria that ruled Germany once upon a time, if you get my drift. The cover also reportedly drew inspiration from the Norwegian black metal band Burzum, which had controversial associations with the ideology of Mustache Man that I was talking about earlier. This combination of provocative imagery and contentious themes fueled widespread debate about Kanye's artistic choices and intent. Critics and fans were deeply divided on Vultures 1. Some praised the album's intricate production, immersive soundscapes, and ambitious themes, while others argued it marked a low point in both of their careers, reflecting declining judgment and cultural relevance. The album became a focal point for conversations about separating art from the artist, public accountability, and the limits of creative expression in a highly scrutinized spotlight. But just like that, we come to the end of this video. I'll say this, if you guys want a part 2, you already know what to do. Run the likes up, run the comments up. If the support is there, then I would definitely get to it sometime. There's far more than just 20 controversial rap albums throughout the genre's entire history. Also, make sure to let me know how you felt about the video and some suggestions for future topics. All in all, I love you guys with all my heart. Peace.